If that doesn't work tomorrow, then you give them another time. But if they say they just don't want to meet, sort of, or they say, no, that's okay, I would still play it out. I would say, okay, well, hey, if tomorrow doesn't work, what I could do is I could come over next week and I could also bring you a forecast of, you could offer another fair trade item. And maybe Wednesday will work, or would Thursday be better? And your mind will think that they already said no, they're going to say no again, but by trying again and offering a new fair trade item or a secondary one in a new time, sometimes they go, oh, okay, since you said that, that's fine. And if that doesn't work, you try it again. And it's not pushy. It's pushy when you do it 4 times. Now, it's pushy if you have bad voice inflection or you're a little grumpy. But if you get used to this, it's not you saying, well, this, or this. It's like, how about that? No, it doesn't work. Well, what about this? Then I can give you this and that. Then we have this with that also. Instead of that time, we'll do this time, or would this time be better? No, that won't work either. Well, that's no problem. Then let's tentatively do it next weekend. So mark down that tentative appointments are valuable as well. Tentative appointments. What do you mean tentative? Well, let's book it for Saturday at 2. I'll get everything ready. And if I don't hear from you, we're good to go. I'll just be there. But if something comes up, like you said, your wife doesn't know, and you got to check with her, just call me back. So you're better off to book a tentative appointment and him call back and cancel, as opposed to you waiting for them to call you for the appointment, because they never will. That's our attitude. They won't. They won't call back. You guys try this. Okay, why don't you check with your wife and get back to me? Oh yeah, we'll do that. You can put your lips together and kiss it goodbye. Best way to get rid of a realtor is just what I just said. Yeah, I'll talk to my wife, I'll get back to you. Yeah, oh, that's great. Untrained agent is like, yeah, and they're sitting waiting by the phone. They're like, they said you call back, and they're waiting. And they're looking at the phone, they're not calling back. Not calling back. And then they try to phone and they get voicemail. And they don't know what to do. What do you do with voicemail?
Hang up and call
Hang up,
again.
call again, and then leave the real estate matter, right? Okay, so, oh God, time goes by so fast. Let me give you something called the difference between a one-stop appointment and a two-stop appointment for listings. And then we'll take a 5-minute break because I was running out of time here. So, if you had a choice, let me ask you this. It's hard there's quite a few new people here, so it's a little bit hard for some of this stuff. So you have no reference place to go from. Some of the veterans know. If I said, are you a one-stopper or a two-stopper? You know, like on your listing appointments, are you a one-stopper or are you a two-stopper? Some people will say I'm a two-stopper, I'm a three-stopper, right? Now, what I'm getting at though is that if you went on a listing appointment and the sellers wanted you to list the first time in, if you were a two-stopper, would you say, I can't list it right now because I'm a two-stopper, I'll be coming back in 2 days? No. You would list it, right?
Yeah.
So the idea is this, without being an over-socializer, if you know what I mean, like over-talker, talking too much, your objective is to go on an appointment and be ready if they are. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so I mean, I'm sure you might send somebody back to do the measurements and some pictures, I get that. And I'm sure there may be the odd time there's some delays in the broker loading process, I get that. But if you can do as much as possible the first time in, and that's what they want, you need to be ready. So we need to know what we need to bring with us, stuff like that. So to understand the difference between the one-stop and the two-stopper, sometimes it's a difference between socializing and selling. Some people, they talk too much, and I've seen some people where they go drive by the house first, they go back to the office and do something. Then they go on the appointment, and then they preview the house, then they go back to the office and do something. And then they come back and they talk to the people about some pricing, and then they go back to the office and do something, and it's just ridiculous. Like, what are they doing? I'm exaggerating a bit, you can tell, right? But they sometimes do at least a 2 or 3 stop, right? You know? And all I'm saying is we want to go in and be totally prepared. I'm going to give you your folder checklist to have everything in there in case they want to list the first time in. I'm going to show you how to bona fide so that when you go, most of the time they do want to list the first time you go in. I'm going to make sure you have your key box, your yard sign, your sandwich board, just a number of things. You're going to be prepared. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And you're going to go on some appointments where they're expecting to list. Not you expecting them. They're waiting for you, and if they get the right feel from you, they're listing. And that's all they're looking for. They just want to know if it's the right person, and they're ready to list. Okay? So we don't want to oversell, do too much socializing. And just remember, I'm going to show you a lot about pricing as well, because there's no specific price for any specific property. You know, appraisers can give something pretty close. We have to give a range. What does our price range stand for? 1, the comparable sales in the area, yes? 2, the condition of the home. And 3, the most important thing to determine price. What do you think it is? What do you think it is? Put your thinking caps on. I said comparables determines price, condition determines price, and there's one more thing that's more important than both those. And it's the main factor to determine price.
The active listings are there.
No.
Seller.
The seller's plans.
Oh.
How fast they want their money.
How fast they want to move.
What if they want their cash in 30 days and the house is worth 500 grand? How fast are you going to be able to get 500 grand from them? You might not be able to get their cash. You might get an offer,
Yeah.
but their cash, if they want their cash within 30 days, they may have to list it at 470, 480, 475. That's, well, you say, when do you know, what if it's, I'm taking possession of our new home on November 1st. When's November 1st? Next week. You need your cash. And we're not even talking about listing and selling it, we're talking about money. That's totally different, but normally that doesn't come up as much as I make it sound. It's usually the other two that are the biggest factors, if there's no time crunch. Okay? So, a couple more things. So, the sellers never agree with your price, so I'm going to teach you how to educate them as opposed to telling them a price. Because if they want 500 and you say 510, they'll want 525. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. If you say it's worth 490, they still won't agree with you. They just don't. It's just human nature to probably want more. So I'm going to show you how to make adjustments at the house so you can get the listing the first time in. And the one stop will save you time, and time is what?
Money.
Exactly. So I'm going to give you 5 minutes, and when you come back, I'm going to go over the bona fide appointment checklist, confirm the prospecting track, and I'm going to go into the for sale by owner. And I think I also give you some fair trade items at the end with your weekly activities, and then a little poem, and then we'll be on our way. And you can pause the recording, Peter. Thank you.